Well, today's the day. I have Curt's radio, and I'm going to label this one Experiment 134. Curt's radio has arrived. So a couple of things to get things started first. I'm going to compare my NorCal 40B with his when we get that far. First, a thanks to Steve AA7U for making the same offer I did to help Curt out. I think hams should help hams. I think everyone needs a little ham help here and there. And I guess that's called being an Elmer. So I'll say that's not my first time, but I certainly enjoy helping out folks when I can. And I did, for the record, I got an approval from Curt to put up a video so that we can all share in what we find. And here we go. I'll grab the box from Curt. So it came in pretty good shape. I'll say with a few minor modifications to the box, but nothing was coming out. And we'll get right in here. I'm gonna open the box off camera just because it's not supposed to be an unboxing. It's supposed to be a radio test. All right, so here we go. I'll bring up the bag. So there's the bag. We'll zoom back a little bit if we can. I guess I can't really, well, let's see, let's hit the 0.5 button here. I guess that's about as good as we get without dropping this thing off my camera mount. So I think we'll call that good. Let's get right into the business here. So we'll put that back in the Curt box and make sure we get him back all of his various stuff. So we have a little box of parts, and we're taped up pretty nicely. And we'll see what we got here. Oh, we're taped up again. That's some pretty good tape, Curt. Boy, we're looks like we're 99% complete here. I see the standoffs and all the controls. That's a good sign. And we'll save all that bubble wrap for the return trip to Curt's house. Okay, well, I guess everybody's been asking for a picture. So there's a view. If you want, I'll zoom in and we'll look around first. And that way, maybe you guys can find something on your own before I find it. So the first thing I think I see is that I would solder those two connections on the antenna jack, but it probably doesn't matter because they're making good contact. Oh, they're soldered nicely on the bottom, so that's okay. So there's no fault there and nothing to fix. So let's slide by other things and see what we see. Things are looking pretty good. I'm not checking component values. Checking IC directions. These first two look correct. This should be, if we can get the light on it right, maybe an LM386. And it is, -4. And that's an NE602. It looks slightly raised in the socket, so I'll give that a push. And other than that, let's see, other than R7, which I can see is missing, let's see what that does. That may or may not matter. So here's my awfully colored up schematic. Let me zoom back. And if anybody, if you're in the back of the room here, you can call out if you already know where R7 is. I don't think I do yet. We know it's somewhere around the AGC though, I guess. Here's 3 and 5 is the RPAC, and 22. R7 is a 47K across the input of the LM386. I don't think that'll make much of a difference on the balanced input, but we may, we'll come back to that. So I'll make a note. I think somebody else spotted that. I think I saw online too. So R7 and the input to the LM386. Missing, and there may be a good reason for that. It might do something to the response, so that might have been done on purpose. I'm not sure. So let's see. I don't see any other missing or obvious things going on. So I think you guys are all waiting for the moment of truth anyway, where we power it up. So we will, I think Curt has said he's already powered up, so I don't think we have to worry about checking the input. I also see we will, I think we'll drop the audio jack down a little bit on the board. So we'll make that just that's a little fix up so it'll fit in the case better. So we'll resolder the audio jack and get it onto the board. Again, it shouldn't affect anything until we try to get it in the case, so that's fine. And while I'm at it, let me carefully put Curt's case pieces back in his box so I don't scratch those. And oh, this is the other one. I don't think mine had this, or if it did, I missed it. There's some SMT solder practice pads. That's kind of cool. We'll put that also back in the box. All right, so just to prove, I generally have a horrible time here with local QRM. So today, let's just see. We'll turn on my NorCal 40B and get it off of the dummy load position. Just to make sure there are signals to hear. Boy, certainly not much. I thought I heard some earlier. There might have been... Oh. Okay, well, we can hear the horrible noise, but at least we do hear some stations. So if we don't hear a lot on Curt's radio, we can't blame Curt because my local conditions are pretty horrible. But there are at least signals, so that's a good enough check there. So we'll just move the same cables over to this radio for a good scientific experiment. And we'll see what we get. So I've got a very nice speaker called a billboard. It's a Bluetooth speaker with an auxiliary input, and we're going to use that. I won't plug the key jack in yet because I'm not in the mood to try that out. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm putting the RF gain all the way to the top. And so far, things are pretty quiet. So let's first give this check. Oh, that was off. Okay, that's all the way up. I don't hear a lot of hum yet, but we'll try that out. Okay, at least we know we're in business there. So what I will do first is just a quick check with the little green screwdriver, and we will take a shot at the input to the audio amp, which would be pin 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. And here is pin 2. And that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go back before the AGC, and we'll see if we have AF coming out of the product detector, or at least detection of something. So this is U2. We're going to take U2 and touch pins 4 and 5. And there's U2, and here's pin 4. And there's pin 5. That's a good sign. So that's probably a fair shot that things might work. And then we'll try somewhere around the input of, that'd be pin 1, and see what we get there. I guess that's maybe too many fingers in the way. It's kind of not what I expect for the input to to the product detector, but we will live with that. I think it's time to get out the signal generator. We at least have audio, so let's make with a real signal that we can hear and try that. So I'm going to power up the trusty new DDS signal generator and see how that goes. So we will just set it to, first we better plug it in. All right, we'll set it up for, that's 7050 at 1 volt, that's pretty high. We'll just not connect it to the input, just lay the wires over here and see what we get. And I think we will hit modulation, move back a little bit. So we're going to sweep from 700 to 7100 with, oh, that's a little bit long to wait. We'll stop that and move from 10 seconds down to 1 maybe. So we should hear that go by. That's 2. Okay, so I don't hear that. So I think we're going to go back to wave, and we're going to turn down to the IF frequency. So we'll go back to frequency, and we'll set it down to 4915. And then we'll hit OK, because that's on. And let's see if getting anywhere near these crystals does anything. It does. That's good. I don't know if you guys hear that or not, but the IF is alive enough to hear that signal sort of loosely coupled there, so that's a good thing. I'm a little surprised it's not louder though. So I think we'll look around and see if we'll see if L4 is in place to see if we have connection to the crystal filter. But I think since we're hearing that exact frequency, that means that something is happening with the crystal filter, because there's definitely filter action going on. So let's see. One possibility would be a crystal shorted to the board, and X4 looks a little bit close. So does X3. I don't know how likely those are to short, but we can check. So let's turn off the power. We'll take a look. So the crystals are here. Let you guys take a look and see what you think. So there, if you look here, there's 4 crystals in that shape, and that's them right here. So I think that looks pretty okay. The one, I think X1 might have a loose lead. I'm not sure. Let's see. No, it doesn't move when I rock it, so I don't think it is. But I think what we'll do is measure the resistance to ground of each of those and make sure that we don't have the crystal filter shorted to ground. So we're going to get out the trusty Home Depot Klein meter. We had the retro Heathkit VTVM available, but we'll skip that for today. Sometimes checking continuity with an analog meter is just more fun. Okay, 0 is 0. Oh, that's volts, sorry. Ohms is better. That way we have a continuity check. So we're going to try from ground, which we'll put over here on a screw, to each of the crystal leads. And then I'll touch a ground pad just for good measure. That's good. So I don't think we have any crystal shorted. And I think all those joints are good enough. So I don't think I'm going to introduce any new variables by resoldering anything. I don't know what you guys think. I think maybe this one lead looks a little bit suspicious. And since I can't see under it, I guess I can. Let's see if I can get you guys a view so we can see under there. I think that lead looks to be soldered. What do you think? I'm just going to touch that one with the soldering iron just to be sure. I don't think that's the issue, but let's see. I don't know if I see. Okay, so let's see if I can zoom back and I'll show you where we're at. So I can feel X1 is not rocking side to side, and I touched up that joint just a bit. So I think that goes through. We can check to see if that made any difference, but I'm not thinking so, but I thought we should try. If that was an easy choice, we could try that first. And then if we get close again, that's working. Okay, I think we'll drop the amplitude way down now. I'll zoom back again. All right, there we go. Now we're going to go to amplitude and zero that, and then move over a bit. I guess we could do something like that maybe. And then let's see if we can find a good spot to inject that signal. That's not a great ground. Let's see. I guess maybe down the hole, that would work. All right, and then we're going to somehow connecting the signal across the two grounds made it pick it up. So I'm going to go into C9 or just after C9, one of those two. We'll see if we can hit that, and we'll see if there's an input to be had. And I think I'm going to grab a capacitor so that we don't do anything ridiculous. So we'll do that for some DC blocking. We won't worry about what value it is. We'll just grab one. I don't know if this one will make a great probe or not, but we'll try. So I got a 104, which is a 0.1. We'll just connect that up to the leads and use that to touch things with. So at least we won't cause any DC distress. All right, so then one more look again at the crystal filter. We want to look for C9, or maybe touch it on X1 would be okay, or pin 3 of T3 would be all right. Let's see, there's X1 and there is C9. Well, it's a direct injection and it's really quiet. So let's try further down the line. How about C13 is the output. And then halfway through would be C11 maybe. So there should be attenuation, but I wouldn't think it would be that much. So C10 is the first crystal. C11 is the second. I don't hear anything there. I guess in C12 is out in the middle. Let's try that. And I do see that they're all 271s like they should be. And I think it's worthwhile, since we're doing experiments, let's grab the other NorCal 40 and I'll show you the signal level differences. And I think it should be pretty stark. So we'll put Curt back here to take a rest. And we'll take out our test subject here, or control subject, I guess. So we won't put the antenna for this experiment. We'll turn the RF gain down because we don't need that. All right, and I'm going to touch, what did we do? We did C13. So you can see that's what we should be getting. So even if things are coming into Curt's crystal filter, I think beyond the crystal filter isn't nearly sensitive enough. So let me show you what we get if we touch pin 1 of U2. And that is the product detector input. So here's pin 1. So that is super loud. So I think we're going to start there and see why the product detector isn't very happy on his, and see if that helps us out. And so if you think about that, what we have is we have a 4.915 crystal here, and we have an input of 4.91 plus or minus our side tone frequency, and we should get audio out. And we are not nearly sensitive enough. If I touch on 1, I get that. So let's keep that in your memory, and we'll go back and try that on Curt's radio. So something's up in the product detector, or points around. This isn't very scientific yet. We haven't even hooked the scope out, but I'm just trying to get in the right ballpark here. All right, our second shot at this is to get the ground on and then touch pin 1 of U2. So it's pretty loud, but it's not nearly as loud as we got on the other one. And I'll show you, let's see, we can grab here and I'll show you the product detector working. So we can show that we're on 4.915 on the meter, or on the generator. And then this should tweak like that. So that's a pretty good indication that the product detector is working. And it's actually quite loud on pin 1. So let's go back to L4 and see. I don't know if we expect that big of a drop across that. So this is a 10 microhenry and a 47 picofarad. So let's see if that is really a 47 picofarad. C14. All right, so C14 is right there. See if I can get you a lamp and let you guys decide. Let's see, we'll move this out of the way for you. All right, right. Can you, let's see if I get focused on that. Did that work? Oops. So that is a 47J. I think we'll call that good. And L4, you can read there, is 18 microhenry, and that's good. And C13, let's see what you see, that is a 271. That's good news. And let's see. It should be about all that matters. So the one thing I can think of we can do is we can connect it back up again, and we can make sure that the AGC pot is in the right spot. That would give us some more gain if that were the case, so let's try that. Well, that didn't work. So sometimes this is convenient and sometimes it's not. See, I've got the right kind of connector on this. If I pull that off, I've got the other kind of connector. But sometimes having the L just isn't that convenient. All right, so we're back connected up. We've got the RF gain all the way up. I'm gonna touch the AGC pot and see what we get. I think that's here.